My name is Gary Dunham. I am Victoria County Heritage Director and co-curator of the current exhibit at the Nave Museum, Art on the Hoof. This is a nice mix of art and local history. These two posters, Pioneer Cattlemen of Victoria County and Pioneer Cattlemen of Refugio County, are actually a key to this exhibit. There is a wealth of information on these posters. Look at the faces, note the cattle brands, read the short bios, and then look at the small map which shows the locations of the historic cattle ranches of the Texas Coastal Bend. The chaps are on loan from Robert Oliver. Over here we have the Bianchi Anvil. Mr. Joe Bianchi made countless sets of spurs, branding irons, bits, and everything else under the sun. It is said that blacksmiths kept this old town in working order. They could fix anything. I once asked Jack Lawrence his memories of growing up across the back fence from the Bianchi shop. He said, "The sound of the hammer hitting that anvil was the sound we woke up to every morning." Note the collection of branding irons on the floor next to the display of spurs. A nice set of Bianchi spurs with decorative Mexican coins goes for about $8,000. The doors are from Mr. Joseph Conti's blacksmith shop downtown. When cattlemen came to pick up the new branding irons, the irons would be heated up and the doors would be branded. One of the most interesting items in the exhibit is the half-stock Plains rifle that once belonged to John Jay Lin. Mr. Lin was called Juan Lin by the residents of Guadalupe, Victoria. He arrived here in 1829 and remained until his death in 1885. He was the last alcalde of Guadalupe, Victoria, and the first mayor of Victoria, Texas. Mr. Francis Hines was gardener at the Tom O'Connor Senior House on North Vine. This portrait of him was painted by Madeline Fleming O'Connor, an excellent artist and longtime patron of the Nave Museum. The large mounted head is on loan from William Henry Crane Womack III. I think it should be titled The Randy Bull. He would jump the fence and get real friendly with the very expensive heifers belonging to a neighbor. Mr. Randy Bull was turned into a handsome cowhide rug and a stunning wall hanging. Passing from the front gallery, you will note the sculpture by Santiago Jim De Leon. In 1970, Jim saw an exhibit of Remington bronzes and said, "I can do that." And so he did, using bits and scraps of stuff lying around his blacksmith shop. It is entitled El Encantado, the Enchanted One. Jim is a direct descendant of the impresario Martin de Leon. In the front gallery, we see mostly the ranches at work. In the back gallery, we see how the ranching families lived. The large painting of J.D. Mitchell was painted in 1915 by J. Ferdinand McCann. Mr. Mitchell retired from cattle ranching and moved to Victoria in 1888. He was 40 years old. The last 30 years of his life, he did exactly what he wanted to do. He was far from idle. He was our city's first notable amateur photographer. He left a legacy of thousands of photographs spanning the first 2 decades of the 20th century. Working with the formidable John J. Welder, he perfected the method of dipping cattle to free the herds of fever ticks. And so I now invite you to celebrate the great ranching heritage of the Texas Coastal Bend and the art associated with those pioneer cattlemen. Thank you.